Hello and welcome everyone to the problem solving session. So, this is session 10 of the course Microwave Engineering. Can anyone please confirm whether I am audible? Okay, thank you. So, today's session is based on the content of week 10, basically on ferrite devices. So the video lectures have been discussed on the discussion topics involved in the video lectures are microwave propagation in ferrites, then Faraday rotation, and devices based on the principle of Faraday rotation, basically the isolators and circulators. So this is the general content which had been covered in the week 10. So before going into the session, let me tell you. So far we had been solving a lot of numericals from in the past 9 weeks or so. But today's session, as you see, the content is also a bit more theoretical. So you need to understand each and every component, understand the working principle of these isolators, circulators, and try to try to understand how the principle of Faraday rotation is being effectively utilized in these devices. So, so today's session we will have mostly questions like true or false questions, and maybe one or two numericals, but comparatively this is more of a theoretical session. So as we go on to the questions, I will discuss some of the associated or related brief notes of each of these. So let me go to the first question, that is on the question number 1. The ferrites are ferrimagnetic compounds. So so today's session is this question is a true or false question. So I would like to like all of you to participate. You can type in chat what do you think, whether it is a true or a false. So it's just a one word. All of you can participate. So based on the video lectures you watched, try to answer these questions and participate. Okay. So I am giving some time. All of you can read the question and let me know whether this is a true or false. So the statement is ferrites are ferrimagnetic compounds. What do you think? Is this true or false? Please type in the chat. I am seeing only one response. I think all of you can try. All of you can try answering this. So let me give you some of the clues. So when you say ferrimagnetic, so basically it's a phenomenon, ferromagnetism or ferrimagnetism, where certain electrically uncharged materials strongly attract. So kind of oxides of iron. So if you remember in the video lectures, it had been mentioned like manganese or Fe2O3. So ferrite or oxide of iron. So basically it's a uh, oxide of iron. So Fe is iron. So iron's oxide of iron. So these kind of ferrimagnetic compounds will have electrically uncharged. So it has electrically uncharged, and this will strongly attract to each other. So this is ferromagnetism. So these kind of compounds, so ferrites are basically ferrimagnetic compounds. So it's a true statement. So let me go to, okay, before going to the next question, let me add to some things. So the relative permittivity or the dielectric constant of ferrites is greater than 10, and the relative permeability is very high, of the order of thousands. So please keep these things in mind. So these are the very basic properties of materials, the dielectric permittivity and permeability. Okay, going to the second question. If omega naught is the Larmor frequency and omega is the frequency of AC magnetic field, then for omega less than omega naught, mu less than k. Okay, so this, whether the statement is true or false. So how to look at this question? For that you need to look at basically two equations which had been discussed in the video lectures. So you have come across this mu and k. So and all of you know that what is this omega naught and what is this omega. So omega is basically this frequency of AC magnetic field, and omega naught is the Larmor frequency as mentioned in the question. Now the question is for omega less than omega naught. So if you look at this term in the denominator, whenever omega less than omega naught, and if you look at the term in the numerator, so this term has omega naught and this term has omega. So whenever omega less than omega naught, it is clearly evident that k is less than mu. or mu is greater than k. So this statement is false. So the answer is false. I hope you got this. If there are any doubts, you can ask me or I'll move to the next question. So the next question is, if in a ferrite medium, beta minus by beta plus is 0.5, the value of mu by k. So you need to, I think you have already come across beta plus and beta minus, or together. So together we can write it like this: beta plus minus is equal to omega root of epsilon into mu plus minus k. Okay, so when it is beta plus, it's mu plus k. When it is beta minus, this will be mu minus k. Okay, so field associated. So field associated with beta plus will be right hand circularly polarized, and field associated with beta minus will be left hand circularly polarized. Okay, so this you have already seen in the video lectures. I'm not going into the details, I'm just giving a brief. So you can take the ratio of beta minus divided by beta plus, omega into root of epsilon into mu minus k, omega into root of epsilon into mu plus k, or I can write it as mu minus k by mu plus k under square root is equal to 0.5, or mu minus k by mu plus k is equal to 0.25. Okay, now once if you simplify, what you will get? Mu minus k is equal to 0.25 into mu plus k, or 0.75 mu is equal to 1.25 k. Mu by k is equal to 1.25 by 0.75, which is equal to 1.67. So this was a very simple simplification. So once if you know beta minus and beta plus, you can definitely find the ratio mu by k. So beta minus and beta plus are actually propagation constants. So these are two different propagation constants, beta plus and beta minus. Any doubts? Okay, so let's move on to the next question. For omega less than omega naught, the angle phi by which the direction of polarization rotates as a plane wave propagates along z-axis in a magnetized ferrite becomes more negative with the increase in z. So the statement is about angle phi. So let me try to write. phi is equal to tan inverse Ey by Ex. So let me tell you what is this phi. This is basically the rotation angle of polarization. So polarization direction, if there is a rotation to that, that can be found like phi is equal to tan inverse Ey by Ex, or minus of beta plus minus beta minus divided by 2 into Z. Now look at this equation and look at the statement. So this statement is angle phi becomes more negative with the increase in Z. So as Z increases, angle phi becomes more negative. That is very clear from the equation. So this is a true statement. As Z increases, phi also increases, and that becomes more negative. I hope this is clear. So this is the Faraday rotation angle, and that angle depends upon the distance Z and also the propagation constants beta plus and beta minus. So the plane wave is propagating along Z direction. So this angle of rotation angle, or the rotation angle of the polarization will depend on the distance along Z axis. I mean the direction in which the wave is propagating. Okay. I hope there are any questions, any clarifications. Okay, so this question is on microwave circulators are designed using the property of Faraday rotation in the ferrite material. I think this is a very straightforward question. All of you can try to answer this. Very straightforward question. I would like to see the responses. Please type in chat what do you think, true or false. Yeah. Thank you both of you. Yes, Kalpana and Lakshmi Kanda. Yeah, thank you for responding. Yes, this circulator is based on, designed based on the principle of Faraday rotation in the ferrite material. Okay, let's go to another question. For the permeability tensor given below, the DC magnetic field is in Y direction. Okay, so this is about magnetic field H, and this is H naught into Y direction. Also, I can keep the unit vector along Y. So the question is about for the permeability tensor. So mu, or the permeability tensor, is given here. So if you closely look at this matrix, so it's already discussed in the lectures. Say if you have a magnetic field along Z, if you have a magnetic field along Y, if you have a magnetic field along X. So these three cases have been discussed in the video lectures. So how is the mu matrix? If it's along Z, so if you look at this is along Y. So mu, mu naught, mu. These are the diagonal elements. Minus jk, jk. So this is the case when magnetic field is along Y. Now coming to when magnetic field is along X. This is the case. So I have discussed all the three cases. So now you will be able to answer looking at what is being asked. Please try to answer based on the matrices I have given. Okay, yeah, right answer. This is false. Thank you for the response. Now, going to the next question, question number 7. So before going to, okay, let's read the question number 7. In Faraday rotation isolator, the biased ferrite rod provides a 45-degree rotation. The input and output ends of the circular waveguide is tapered to rectangular waveguide sections and the two pods are 45 degree to each other. Okay, so this is about the Faraday rotation isolator. So let's have a look at how it works with the diagram. So I will quickly give you a brief idea. See, if you look at this, so what is an isolator? So all of you know what is an isolator. In one direction, you have a lossless transmission, okay, and in the opposite direction, there is a complete absorption. Now, how does it happen? In one direction, there is lossless transmission, and the other direction, it's a complete absorption. So you know that the wave is going through the same components. How is it possible? So that is the speciality of an isolator. So let's see how it works. So basically, isolator is a circular waveguide. Okay, it's a circular waveguide, and if you look at the ends, if you look at the port 1 and port 2, which are the two ends, you can see that it's a rectangular tapered section. So it's a rectangular tapered ends. Okay, So a circular waveguide which has a rectangular tapered end. And if you look at this part, so this is a ferrite. So far we had been discussing a lot on ferrites. So this ferrite rod will impart or will introduce a phase shift. So that means as the wave passes through this ferrite, there will be a phase shift. Also that phase shift will be, or it is set at 45 degree by adjusting the length of the ferrite rod. Okay, so for a particular length there is a particular phase shift. Okay, in case of an isolator it is fixed at 45 degree. Now look at when wave travels from port 1 to 2, what happens? So there is an incident wave. Say at port 1 you have E incident. Okay, now what happens to that? Say so please remember this 1 and 2, those two are rotating vanes. So sorry for the interruption. So the incident wave is perpendicular to this rotating vane 1. So the wave is not getting affected. So this pass through, and when the incident wave pass through the ferrite rod, so this is the ferrite rod, as it pass through that there will be a 45 degree rotation. Okay, so incident wave is rotated by 45 degree, so let me call it as E incident dash. Okay, now this E incident dash is perpendicular to rotating vane 2. So it does not get affected in rotating vane 2, it passes through and it will reach the port 2. So when it reaches the port 2, this is 45 degree rotated, and port 1 and port 2, these two ports are 45 degree to each other. So wave will pass without any attenuation. Now look at a case when wave travels from port 2 to port 1. What will happen? Why? How it is completely absorbed. So as the wave pass through, so first from port 2 there is an incident wave. Let me take it like IEI. It passed through, first it passed through the rotating vane. So as it sees the rotating vane, it is perpendicular, so there is no change. As it goes through this ferrite rod, there is 45 degree shift rotation. So after that 45 degree rotation, this EI dash, so this EI dash became parallel to the rotating vane 1. Okay, because it became parallel to rotating vane 1, it will get absorbed. So the wave is getting absorbed in the rotating vane 1. Okay, suppose if there is any reflection going back, then that will get absorbed by the rotating vane 2. Okay, So this is how an isolator works. So this question was basically on the kind of working of an isolator. So let me break it up into different parts. The ferrite rod provides, yes, it provides a 45 degree. Then input and output ends. So basically it's a circular waveguide which has a taper to rectangular waveguide, that is also true, and input and output port is 45 degree to each other. So all the three statements about the rotation isolator is true. So this is a true statement. I hope you all agree with me on this. If there is any confusions regarding the working of isolator, which I have just explained to you, you can ask me. Property of ferrite makes wave to rotate. Yes, so good question. Um, so I hope I think your question is whether it's the property of ferrite which makes it to rotate. So as as we have discussed in the beginning, um, if you remember, I discussed about propagation constants, and I also discussed about angle phi. Yeah, here angle phi. So uh, so my point to give here is, say you have a ferrite as so, and it has to be, and the plane wave has to propagate along the z-axis, or it along the ferrite basically. So the polarization changes, okay, and that polarization change is depending on, I mean, that rotation of polarization. So polarization in general, I can say the orientation of electric field, say if you take it like that. So then that rotation of that polarization, say initially it was horizontal polarized, so as it passes through the ferrite, that angle changes from, so it is no longer horizontal polarized. So and how that angle change, that clearly depend on what all parameters. If you look at this, beta plus, beta minus and z. So how much distance it has traveled along the ferrite. So the length of the ferrite is a very important parameter which will matter, because that is what gives the phase shift. Because beta plus and beta minus, these are basically propagation constants which does not change. That is purely dependent on omega root of epsilon into mu plus k, omega root of epsilon into mu minus k. Okay, so these are depending only on epsilon, mu and k values, and also the omega value. And you know that what is mu and k dependent on? It is dependent on the frequency. So frequency of the AC magnetic field, frequency, Larmor frequency, and all those kind of parameters. So this is basically the very important factor, other than the ferrite's its own properties, the length of the ferrite, that can be varied to give a phase different phase or the required phase. say here in this case we need a 45-degree rotation. In any other case it could be different or it could be useful. I mean, depending on the length you can change the face. So I hope this answered your question. Okay, there is another question. Similar principle is adopted in matched termination. Uh, I am not quite sure whether you are referring to any particular matched termination or in general. Okay, in that case, in general, if you are speaking, say in transmission lines, basically we try to match the characteristic impedance to the load impedance. Say there we when we say it's a matched termination, it means that we try to reduce the reflections. So we try to reduce the reflection by matching the impedance. So matched termination is a little different, but of course there is phase involved there as well. So when I say a quarter wave transformer or something like that, so there is a lambda by 4 change in so the phase is involved, but my point is ferrite and matched termination is not exactly the same. So in general, if you talk about matched termination, it's on we do reduce the reflections and maximize the transmission. So we need to look at maximum power transfer. So that happens only when the impedances are matching. So I hope this is clear. Okay, so let me go to the last question. Suppose a biased ferrite medium produces Faraday rotation of minus pi by 2 radian per meter at a frequency of omega. For such a medium, the relation beta plus is equal to pi plus beta minus hold. So I would like to get your responses on this. What do you think? Is this a true or a false statement? Can you straight away look at the question and try to answer this? I can give you some clues. This is already a formula which we have already discussed. The rotation angle of polarization tan inverse of Ey by Ex, or I can say minus of beta plus minus beta minus divided by 2. So in the question it's being told that the ferrite rotation is minus pi by 2. Okay, so we already know the rotation angle. So this is the Faraday rotation. So Faraday rotation angle is given to you. Now will you be able to draw a relation between beta plus and beta minus? I would like to know what do you think. You can type in the chat. I've already given some clues to you, and giving the clues you can let me know what do you think. Is this a true or a false statement? Yes, Kalpana, true. It's true statement. As you see here, beta plus is equal to pi plus beta minus. It holds. It's a true statement. So, any doubts? So, these are the questions for today's session. So, if you have any questions, doubts, you can ask me.